All right, we'll get started now. We're going to just start off with a few little introductions first with some of the team members, and then so I think if people are still getting on, they'll be okay. Um, my name is Chris LeSueur, and will be your host today, and kind of moderating and presenting throughout the next few sessions that we have. I do want to let you all know, I would ask that you please turn off your mics and camera kind of during the presentation. We will have an opportunity, really with the large number that we will have an opportunity at the end to turn on the cameras to ask questions, kind of when we're doing exercises at the end. But for now, we ask you to turn off your mic and camera. It can be a distraction for some. And the Esri presenters will have our cameras and obviously our mics on. But we do ask you to turn those off. If you have questions, if you need help throughout, use the chat window that as part of Zoom. You can chat and ask questions there, and I'll introduce you to a few of the Esri staff that will be there to help you. So I just wanted to, as we kind of get started, I wanted a little bit to meet the team that is putting this on. If just for some history, the AppStudio team at Esri, we are in 2 different locations. Part of the team is in Redlands, California. Myself included, and the presenters here, we're in Redlands, California. And also part of the team is in Melbourne, Australia. So we every day get on, video calls with the Melbourne Australian and work together with part of the development team there that builds AppStudio. Now I want to talk a little bit about also who we are that's going to be presenting this week. So I'm Chris LeSueur. I'm the product manager at Esri. I've been here for quite some time. I'm the product manager for AppStudio. I am, as I will show you here, I'm in my home, like I think many of you are. I'm in my home presenting this session to you today. Obviously, we're in some unprecedented, really horrible and challenging times here. Many of us are working from home or from different locations, or just have disruptions in our daily work and office environment. We as a team thought this was a good time to really engage with an audience that might not have some of the same distractions and day-to-day operations that happen at the office, because they might be working elsewhere and things are just working a little different. So we thought it was a good opportunity to do a workshop, and we kind of put this together. We've done these before, but we sent out the invites and got it going fairly quickly. When we do these workshops in the past, we've had probably 30 is kind of our, if we do a live one, 30 is the max we can handle, and even live plus some virtual, we've never gone past 50. We immediately, when we sent this invite out, within 24 hours had 100 people, then 200 people, and then over 300. So we've decided, especially in these times, to not really cap it. I mean, only in the last 24 hours did we kind of cut it off. So you might have to bear with us a little bit. There's going to be a lot of people logged in, but I think you're going to get a lot out of this workshop. And I'll go into detail about the different days and what we're going to cover, and kind of the different people that what you'll be interested in on those different days. So if you're not a developer at all, great. You're still going to get a lot out of this workshop, particularly this week. And I'll go into some detail on that. All right, I will put back my virtual background, and I will now ask some of our other presenters today to kind of introduce themselves. So Tina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Tina. I'm the product engineer in the AppStudio team. I have been working for AppStudio team for a little bit over 3 years, and I hope you guys enjoy today's workshop. So please feel free to directly ask me questions, any questions you have in the chat window. Yeah. So over to you, Irvin.
Hey everyone. My name is Erwin Sukianto, also a product engineer with AppStudio team here in Redlands, California. As some of you already been asking me, I'm Indonesian, not Filipino. uh, I'll be presenting mostly next week, but I'll be moderating and helping with answering question this week. So feel free to ask any question. Thank
All
you.
right. And I don't know, Brooke, are you online? I don't think. Brooke will be presenting next week, doing a lot of presenting on developing AppStudio apps. Brooke is not part of the official AppStudio team. We kind of bring her in because she's so great. She's done some really great projects using AppStudio for our professional services department. So she's a developer who uses AppStudio and a really great presenter. So we asked her to join, and she will join us next week on a number of presentations. All right, I want to talk a little bit about we're not gonna go around to the 183 people and have you all introduce yourself. We obviously don't have time for that. But I just want to talk a couple slides about, think about who are you? Are you a JS professional? Are you a full-time developer? Are you a mix of both or somewhere in between? And with that idea, why are you here? Do you want to provide people access to maps and data? Is that why you're here? You want to create an app to do that? Do you want to create a solution maybe for a customer? Do you want to create a specific tool for your organization? So just some things to think about why you're here, what you want to accomplish. And I just want to introduce a little bit of this concept of a citizen developer. Now, a citizen developer is a IT term that organizations like Gartner have defined. And this one definition of a citizen developer is a user who creates business applications for consumption by others using development and runtime environments sanctioned by corporate IT. In the past, end user application development has typically been limited to single user or work group solutions, but with tools like Microsoft Access and Excel. However, today, end users can build departmental, enterprise, and even public applications using shared services, fourth generation language, style, development platforms, and cloud computing services. Now, that's a mouthful, but essentially what I want to think about is, are you a citizen developer? Have you ever created a custom Excel spreadsheet or Access database? I think a lot of you probably have. Have you ever automated a task using a batch file or a Python script? Maybe created a specific GIS tool with .NET, VB script, or Avenue for some of those that have, like myself, that have been around a while. Or have you created just a web application using Web App Builder, or Esri configurable apps, or JavaScript API, or FileMaker? If you've done these things, you are considered a citizen developer. And really the tools have advanced where previously you were customizing things maybe for yourself in a little personal access database. Now you can customize things for a larger audience. Now you can create things for people in your organization, for the public even, where some of these tools have come along so far. And that's really where AppStudio really fits nicely. It allows you to do things that typically required a computer science degree to do to create these apps. Now, that's not saying if you are a full-on developer, you're not going to get a lot of AppStudio, because you will get a lot, and we'll go into that today. The different capabilities that AppStudio brings with your different skill levels. All right. So with that, just that I wanted you to think a little bit about where you fall in that. Oh, I skipped. Hold on. I need to unhide some slides here, or else you're not going to see. Hold on. We won't see the agenda if I don't unhide the slides. There we go. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about the agenda for, I keep saying this week, it's really for these number of days. We often, when we're sitting down and doing one of these workshops, it's usually 2-3 days, and it's all day, the whole day. We kind of did it different this time. We're going to break it up into smaller bits. We're going to record these and post them online. So if you miss one, you can go back to it, and we're going to, put them into smaller chunks, and hopefully people will be able to access them and work their schedule around. If they miss one, they can easily catch up. So day one, today we're gonna, obviously I will do an introduction here of the workshop. I'm gonna give an AppStudio overview. So an overview of the product, what it does, what people are building with it, the different tools involved in AppStudio. Then we're gonna go really and give have a demonstration of the desktop software. We'll discuss AppStudio Player, a very useful tool, and give a demonstration of that. We expect that will take about 2 hours, maybe a little more, or maybe a little less. I'm thinking probably a little more. And then the last hour will be to do some exercises. So we have a number of exercises for you to complete or to work through. And we'll also open up the mics and at that time have you ask questions. Probably about an hour in. Every hour or so we'll have a quick 5-minute break, and then come back. So that's day one. So day one, obviously there's no coding going on. This is learning the platform, learning how to configure apps, what's available. Day two, on Thursday, we will talk about tips and tricks, a little bit about designing apps, and then also go into some details about distributing your AppStudio apps. That is, we have some unique ways of distributing apps, and we'll go into that, as well as some details about AppStudio licensing. Then we'll talk about the AppStudio architecture and how you can take maybe these apps that you've configured and customize them with code. So we'll get into a little bit of code. Erwin will go through an exercise and add a little bit of functionality to one of our existing templates. So open up the code, you'll get an idea of what it looks like and see how to customize that. So that's this week, Tuesday and Thursday. Next Tuesday and Thursday is when we'll get into really the heavier, you want to write, really extend your application or write a custom application from scratch or based off one of our templates or layouts. So we'll get into how to debug your apps, some more of the basic coding concepts when using this language called QML to build apps and using JavaScript in your app. You'll also then, on day 4, we'll get into writing apps, but also using the ArcGIS Runtime, so the powerful mapping capabilities of the ArcGIS Runtime, as well as some of the AppStudio App Framework components. So if you know you are not a developer and you're not interested in going past day 2, that is fine. But I think we really kind of built this such that it kind of grows with you and grows with our different people and their skill levels. All right, so AppStudio for ArcGIS. What is AppStudio for ArcGIS? AppStudio is I think most of us know it's a solution for creating native apps. So you can build native apps, develop native apps that run on devices, that run on smartphones, tablets, and desktops. And these aren't running in a web browser on the web. These are native applications. But it's also, we call it what in the industry, in the tech industry today, they would call a low-code solution. So we provide lots of tools, lots of samples, lots of easy connections into things like the ArcGIS platform to write mapping apps. We provide a lot of tooling to allow you to create native apps. And not only is it a low-code solution, but it's also a low-code, no-code solution. No-code means that you don't have to write code to build some of the apps. So we do have a number of templates that you can just configure and then go ahead and distribute those. So next, why native apps? Why do we care about native apps? I guess, what's the web is great. We can build awesome web applications. Why do we care about native apps? Well, for one, with native apps, you can run these offline. So native apps have the ability to run offline. You can do things like access your map services, collect data, and things when you're disconnected from a network. And so that's a powerful capability, and that's what a lot of people, that's maybe the reason why they're using native app. Also, device capabilities, being able to access the maybe the GPS, GNSS receiver on your device, being able to access that to get your location, maybe being accessing a specific Bluetooth device, or accessing capabilities of the operating system, such as sharing data from your app with another app on that same device. So there's device capabilities and that come along with native apps. And for some, it's app stores, being able to distribute your app into app stores. And that can be public app stores that we traditionally think of, the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. That can also include, maybe you have a enterprise app store of such for the organization you work for. You have a mobile deployment management system where you push apps to devices. These get installed directly on devices, and you can update them as well. So these are, I guess, some of the ways that, some of the reasons to create native apps, and there's others as well, but these are some of the big reasons that many of our users want to create native apps. Also, who can deliver these kind of apps? Can the GIS department do that? Can a web developer do that? Can a desktop or Python developer do that? Of course, in this session, we're going to say yes, you can. That's what AppStudio is all about. And how quickly and cost effectively can you do this, and can you have fun doing it? That part we cannot guarantee. We will do our best that you have fun. We think you will have fun doing this. But why haven't some of our users been doing this in the past? Okay, hold on. There we go. My slide was going a little slow there. So there are challenges to native app development. One is the cost, time and resources and money. Are you going to do this yourself? Are you going to learn to do this? Are you going to outsource it to another organization? It can be quite costly to have a consultant build a native app for you. So there are challenges. Do you have the skills in-house to do it, or are you going to have to go outside of your organization? How are you going to distribute that app? Do you want to put it into app stores? Do you want to maybe distribute another way to your organization, to others? And how are you going to do that? Are you going to be able to secure your data and make sure people who's logging in or who's using your app? Different app security issues that might come up. And are you going to maintain that app over on these maybe different platforms? Are you going to be able to maintain that over time and on all those different platforms at the same time? Because with app, one of the big challenges is there's different platforms. On the mobile side, really, we're looking primarily at iOS and Android. We're looking at iPhones, iPads, Android devices, but maybe you also want to build for Windows devices, Windows tablets, Windows, a laptop or a desktop application, and maybe even for a Mac and Linux as well. So one of the key capabilities of AppStudio is that you write your code once, and this is what I think AppStudio is kind of known for. You write your code once, and you can build it for all these different platforms. So you write it on your desktop, create it once, and now you can install that same app on iOS, Android, and even Windows devices. So a little bit of background, and we'll talk about this kind of more as it goes on. But so this writing your app once and building it for different platforms, how do we do this? Is this an Esri amazing capability? Well, we take advantage of some technology from a company called Qt. It's spelled, as you can see there, QT, but it's pronounced Qt. And Qt is a C++ SDK for building applications, often embedded applications inside of hardware and things like that. But we take advantage of Qt, and they've added some cross-platform capabilities on it. You're not writing in C++ anymore. You're writing in a different language called QML. And we've kind of added some components on that to allow you to go cross-platform, to allow us to write once and hit all these different applications. And we're thankful for that, and it works really nicely and really amazing. All right. Now I've given you a little bit of background about AppStudio, what it is, some of the challenges that we're trying to solve with, app development. I want to go through now and talk about some of the apps that people are creating with AppStudio. So we have a number of users, Esri customers that are building AppStudio apps, and Esri, we use AppStudio as well. So some of the types of apps that people are building, well, one is they're building public information apps. These are apps that will that notify the public or give the public information. These are put into app stores such as the Apple App Store and the Google App Store, Google Play Store. One example is Allegheny County Trails app that you see there. This is an app that allows you to search for a county park and then download the park and the trails on it. And so if you need to go hiking, you might not have connectivity, you can still see the trail that you're on, get information about the trail, such as the elevation profile. If you're connected to the network, you get the weather for the day. So really a really handy, nice app that helps people get out and go hiking. Gives the public information. We have some, such as this Field Days apps that's displayed there. That's for a specific event, a very large outdoor event in New Zealand where thousands and thousands of people come, and they need to know things like where's the first aid office? Where can I go to find ice cream on a hot day in this outdoor event? It's a really cool application built for the public. So these are just a few examples of public information apps that people are building with AppStudio. We also have data collection apps are very popular. Now, at Esri, we use AppStudio to build a few of our apps. Two that are out there now being used. These are Survey 123 and Quick Capture. Now, these are professional GIS data capture apps. And they are what's really cool about them. One is that they're built with AppStudio. They're cross-platform. They run on different platforms. So when they release a version of these apps, they hit all the different platforms and release all at the same time. And also that we give away the source code with AppStudio for those two apps, so people can customize them as well. And we'll talk about that later, but you can actually customize or brand these apps for your own organization. Others want to create data collection apps that are more citizen science or crowdsourced data. So such as this TerraTruth app. This allows you to, in the United States, to go to public lands, open outdoor public areas where people may have vandalized or done dumped trash or graffiti. You can capture that information with the app and send it back to this organization, TerraTruth, and they will take action on that item. So it's really about capturing information and protecting and keeping our public lands clean. And there's also business apps. Business apps I would define as this helps users get their, something that they would typically probably do on their desktop or their laptop in the office as part of their business. It allows them now to do that on their mobile device, where they're out with they always have in their hand, which they're accessing services often. Why not allow them to accomplish these other tasks on this mobile device? So things like a wildfire analyst being able to do see how a wildfire is growing, where it might move to based on different conditions. The Wildfire Analyst Pocket can do that in a smartphone in your hand. Esri Support has built an app using AppStudio to access the different information from Esri Support, and this app doesn't have a map in it. It's just they use AppStudio because it was easy to build app, and it was they could build it once and it's cross-platform. And another one I want to point out on this slide is the Tile Package Creator. So there's an example of an app that's not a mobile app. This is a desktop application which will you connect to online services and it will create a map tile package for you. But this runs on Mac and Windows and Linux as a desktop application, not as a mobile device, or not on mobile devices. The last kind of category of apps that I want to highlight is enterprise apps, and I would define these as similar to business apps, but these really are built specific for specific workflow in an organization to accomplish some specific workflow. One is DigAlert. This app is in the United States. We have this service called 811, or Call Before You Dig. So if you're going to go dig in your yard or at your business in the ground, you don't want to dig up any power lines or gas pipes. You can call this number and they will come out and they will mark off where those lines are. And it's a service across the United States. Well, they needed an app to help them go and do these tasks, know where to go, get information about the request. And the DigAlert app was created specifically for this cause. And what's really cool about it is that there's customers that wanted it on iPads, on Android tablets, and on Windows tablets. And it could really be written once and deployed across all those different devices. There's also the Plate Meters app. Plate Meters is built by one of our partners, GPS It from New Zealand, and it's a really cool application that it connects to a very specific Bluetooth device that allows you to measure the heights of pasture land grass. And it's a very specific application, but AppStudio fit the need very well and was able to do things like connect to a very specific piece of Bluetooth hardware. So just a couple of success stories. I want to talk about one in San Juan County, New Mexico. This is a small county here in New Mexico and in the United States. San Juan County there's a lot of open land. It's more of a desert landscape and a lot of beautiful areas, but a lot of open land, and people were dumping trash and vandalizing things. So the county GIS department, who is one person, who is not a developer, was able to use AppStudio to create an app and publish those into the app stores. The Clean Up San Juan app allows the public to download this app, go out, capture images, capture some information, and push that back into the GIS database, and then people can go later and clean that up. The last I looked, there were over 127,000 pounds of trash cleaned up because of this project, because of this app and its capabilities. So really showing the power that one person without developer skills can create an app, publish it to app stores, and really make a difference. And then we have organizations like Geo Decisions. These are a GIS consultant who does a lot of work for other departments, and they've created a very specific app for Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for guide rail management. This app is actually a customized version of Survey 123. So they took our Survey 123 template, they customized it with a specific map, connecting into a specific database, and meeting the needs of the Pennsylvania DOT. So now when the people are out in the field, they need to do these projects for the guide rail management. They can use the new special Survey 123 forms and send that information back directly to the database when out in the field. That can then be viewed. Of course, it's pushed back in the database. So when I'm talking about database, I'm really talking about the ArcGIS organization, their ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise setup. And now they can do things like use a operations dashboard to view this data and share it with others. And kind of the last app I wanted to highlight here is this Earth Challenge 2020 app. This app is a really cool app built from GeoMarvel. GeoMarvel is a partner of ours, and they were asked to build this app for the Earth Day Network. This allows you can download this from the app stores today. Look for Earth Challenge 2020 or EC 2020. And this allows you to do some citizen science out there. So if you want to, they have a couple of different widgets inside of here, or mini apps, allow you to do things like take pictures of your sky and they're collecting information from all around the world of people taking pictures of their sky and rating the air quality. And this is getting sent back into a massive database where they can then capture this information and do some more scientific work on it. They also can do things like, if you want to organize a group to go pick up trash, they've got tools for that as well. So it's a really cool app pushed out created with AppStudio, and it's really quite a dynamic app. And we'll talk about some of the technology later on that goes into building that, because this was built actually using one of our templates, using the AppStudio Player template. So one of the apps that we use and we'll use later today, they customize AppStudio Player to do these things. So really powerful application. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the AppStudio software. So we really haven't talked about the software itself. What are the different pieces of it, and what do I get with AppStudio? So let's go into that. First, just we'll talk more about this platform later on, but I wanted to, because I might be using some terms that are foreign to you, but I talked about that Qt, that we use this technology from Qt, and that's at the bottom there. That's that C++ libraries that really, as an AppStudio developer, you're not going to really interact with directly, but it's there and it enables some of the capabilities that we have. On top of that, we have this. We have this Qt library, and the Qt library is some tooling that allows us to actually build the app UI. It allows us to really write these apps and allows us to make them go cross-platform. So when we get into writing code later on, you'll be working quite a bit in this Qt library. We also have an AppStudio app framework. This is some tools that AppStudio team has built to allow us to do things like unlock an app with our thumbprint or our fingerprint. Maybe take text from your screen and read it out as speech. But being able to do that cross-platform, meaning you only have to write that capability in once, and then it will work on multiple devices. So also maybe logging into your ArcGIS portal, an easy, some nice tools to do that. That's built from the AppStudio team, and we call that the AppStudio framework. And there's this other piece I want to highlight here, and that is the ArcGIS Runtime for Qt. So the ArcGIS Runtime, these are some core components built by our developers at Esri that allow us to access maps and layers and read that data in, take those maps and layers offline, perform data editing, analysis, do some routing and navigation, 3D and offline. All these awesome mapping capabilities come inside of AppStudio because we include the runtime for Qt. Now there's different runtimes for other platforms. There's .NET, there's for iOS, there's Java. We use the ArcGIS Runtime for Qt because we're built on top of Qt. But really, you're writing against this once, and then it's going to work on all these different platforms. So it's great that we can have access, and we'll show you on one of the later days all the different mapping capabilities you can do here in this runtime. And then that top level of templates and samples, enterprise samples, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But those we access those through different tools that come with AppStudio, such as the desktop, the player, our CloudMake service. So there's different software components that we use to access all these different pieces. So AppStudio, the software is not just one single piece of software. It's not just a single application. It's really, we talk about it as a suite of productivity tools. One is AppStudio Desktop. So AppStudio Desktop is the application that you will use to access the different samples the different templates. If you want to create a new app, you start in AppStudio Desktop. It gives you the ability to create new apps, to configure a lot of different settings on those apps, and upload your apps to your organization, do a build of your apps. It's really the core tool that kind of brings all this together, and you'll be working in, for the most part, in this. You'll spend a lot of your time today and the next day working in AppStudio Desktop. Inside of AppStudio Desktop, we give you access to some interactive samples, over 80 samples. And these, I say they're interactive, meaning that you can actually click on a sample, run it as kind of its own separate app, and then look at the code, and then maybe implement that code into your own app. So we're growing these with every release. We add, really a couple new samples, and we have over 80 of these now, and you can access those directly here in Desktop. We also have a number of configurable app templates. Right now we have 4 standard configurable app templates, which Tina will show in just a minute. But these 4 templates are, this is the no-code solution. If you want to create an app and deploy it and give it to others and have a full functioning native application without writing any code, you're going to use these configurable templates. I say right now we have 4, and we are looking to add more to these templates. We also have some more advanced templates. These are called enterprise templates or advanced templates. These are things like Survey 123. These are things like Quick Capture. These are there's a lot more code involved in these. I say in most cases, if you're going to actually customize the code, you probably have to have some pretty good, developer skills to know how to do this. Maybe you just want to brand them. Maybe you just want to change the colors to look like your own organization. That doesn't take quite the same developer skills, but these are more advanced, larger code bases. A lot of them are kind of professional GIS applications. But we do give you the code to those, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go throughout the workshop. A developer environment. So we provide a full developer coding environment with the product. It's from the Qt company. It's the Qt Creator. We bundle it as part of this product. So when you installed AppStudio Desktop, which I hope all of you did, when you installed AppStudio Desktop, you also got this Qt Creator developer environment that got installed along with the desktop. And on Thursday, we'll jump in and get our first experience using that Qt Creator developer environment. It also includes AppStudio Player. AppStudio Player is an awesome tool, runs on many different platforms, Android and iOS, smartphones, tablets, desktop. This allows you to really run your applications without having to create a build for it. So you think of it, you're running your app project on different devices quickly and easily, seeing how it will behave and work on those different devices, maybe distributing it to someone else so they can use it on their device. So AppStudio Player is a really powerful tool and a key part of this suite of productivity tools. And there's something we call the CloudMake service. The CloudMake service is the ability to, we have some servers in the cloud, and we allow you to build your own install executable. So if you want to go to an app store, if you wanted to create an app for the Apple App Store or Google, and you need that separate install file that they require, we have a cloud service that will build that for you. And the way it works is you simply upload your app to your ArcGIS organization. From AppStudio Desktop, you call this CloudMake service, and you give it maybe the right certificates that you need to build your app, and then ask it to create a build, and it will do that in the cloud and then deliver that executable for you. So this is a huge time save for a lot of people. They don't have to worry about having build machines for different platforms, making sure they're all, have the latest libraries installed and that they're all synced up correctly. We handle that part for you. So the cloud service is a key part of AppStudio.